Welcome to episode 4 of The Truth About Hair, and we've got something really exciting today. We're joined by Regrow co-founder Kristy Hungerford. So Kristy's here. She's going to take us through what a healthy hair care routine looks like, what habits should be included in everybody's hair care routine, and also what habits are contributing to hair loss if you are experiencing active hair loss. Welcome, Kristy.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So let's just jump right in. So why is hair hygiene so important for healthy hair growth?
I'm sure you've heard on previous episodes where we talk a lot about DHT and the buildup of DHT on your hair scalp, in your follicle, sorry. So cleanliness is all about getting the DHT out of the follicle, ensuring that the scalp is clean and a really good environment for the hair to grow from. So you don't want to have dandruff or things like that. So we would need to get the hair hygiene to its best point so that the hair has the best chance to grow.
Okay. And so what should a basic daily hair care routine look like? What are the essential elements for that?
Yeah. I think it's always important to wash your hair with shampoo twice, because the first wash is just kind of getting through the oils or any product on your hair and things like that. And the second one really gets down to the root. And condition once. And you want to leave your conditioner in your hair for, 1 to 2 minutes. When you're washing your hair, we have a scalp massage brush, which brings the blood flow and all the nutrients to the root of your hair. So I always love to use the scalp massage brush, and it's like having a little massage.
You love your luxuries.
I really do. And then, if you have a really good wide tooth comb to comb the conditioner through your hair while it's wet as well, just very gently, because your hair is at its most fragile when it's wet. And give it a good rinse out, and then once you jump out of the shower, towel dry it. Then you can use your derma roller 2 to 3 times a week for your derma roller.
Yep.
And you go horizontal and vertical and everything across your scalp, particularly from your temple to the crown of your head. And then spray your tonic in and give your head a little massage with the hair tonic, and you're pretty much good to go, and you can style as per normal. Obviously things like blow drying your hair is going to damage your hair a bit, but it's life and people do these things. So but where you can, towel drying is always better. We always say it's best to wash your hair daily, and that's because the DHT will build up daily.
I know. I feel like a lot of women just heard that and were like, What? That's not what my hairdresser told me. I was told to wash once a week, because we've all been told that.
Yeah, 100%. I hear that all the time, and I know myself a million years ago, it's like all about washing your hair once a week and letting the natural oils come through and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to hair loss, it's the exact opposite. You want to be able to wash really regularly, especially down at the root in your hair.
Yeah.
I know if you have drier hair, some people are a bit funny about it, but if you're using a really good shampoo, it shouldn't be drying your hair out anyway. Yeah,
that's actually something I've got sort of to go through. Is a lot of people kind of worry that washing their hair regularly, daily, is going to cause further damage, but that is actually due to the ingredients in the products they're using, isn't it? What kind of ingredients can cause that, damage to the hair?
Absolutely. So things like sulfates and parabens and MEAs and all those kind of things. Silicons are one of those ones that coat your hair and make it look lovely and shiny, but what it's actually doing is suffocating the hair underneath. So often if you're washing your hair with those kind of products, it makes it quite brittle and does dry it out really badly. But if you've got the right pH levels and a good shampoo, it shouldn't be drying your hair out.
Yeah, I remember when I first started working for Regrow and you guys gave me some products and I started using them. I think I was 3 washes in. I have really long hair at the time as well. And I was like, oh, I don't think I like these products.
Yeah.
I could not unknot my hair. And I ended up saying something to you guys. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but my hair is so knotty from the shampoo. It is taking me literally half an hour to brush the knots out. And you just looked at me and you're like, it's washing the silicone and product buildup off your hair. You need to just get 3 more washes in.
Yeah.
And I think it was 3 or 4 more washes in, and it was a completely different playing field. My hair was
100%.
amazing. But those initial washes, and I thought I was using a product that was really clean and natural. So that realization that my hair was coated in product and silicons, probably, because it was brutal.
It's definitely one of the biggest things we get told. They've washed their hair a couple of times and it's just really knotty.
Yeah.
And generally that just means someone's been using a product previously that's had silicons in it. And if you can imagine trying to get varnish off or like sticky tape off a jar or something like that, it gets really gluggy when you're trying to get it off, and that's exactly what's happening to your hair. So you have to really stick it out, get about 6 washes in. And
you want to wash daily for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Get that done quickly.
And then the silicons come off. Our product can actually get to your hair and make it naturally shiny and beautiful.
So we've just talked about the ingredients that we don't want in the shampoo and conditioner, but what are the ingredients that we do want in our shampoo and conditioner?
Okay, well, you definitely want to have your DHT blockers, which we have, which will help with your hair loss.
Yep.
And then we also want to have protein builders that will build the hair up. We also use, personally at Regrow, we use a lot of natives that we know are leading the way in hair health, and you know, things like biotin, which builds the hair up. We're using Kakadu plum, which is really high in vitamin C, which helps to build the keratin in your hair. I try as much as possible to jam pack great ingredients into our products, but you do want to look out for those ones that, you know, minus the bad ingredients that do have a lot of high purity ingredients as well, because sometimes they'll put the tiniest amount in and say, oh yeah, we've got rosemary in there, and it's such a small amount it won't do anything. So really using the product will always give it away.
Yeah, of course. That's true, isn't it? Because there are like a lot of, you know, we've had a look at some products recently that say they're sort of like a caffeine shampoo, or they've got rosemary oil and it's just like a tiny amount.
Smallest
amount. Not quite enough. But they do have it in there. They're not like...
That's right.
Right. So basically people want to sort of check like not only the ingredients but also like the amount of that ingredient within the formula.
Yeah, and we also use oxygenated rainwater as a base to our products, just because otherwise, you know, the base of your product's just using demineralized tap water, basically. That's what most products
Why is that bad? Like what is wrong with demineralized tap water as like a base for shampoo and conditioners?
So by using demineralized tap water, it doesn't hold the purity of the ingredients as well. Our oxygenated rainwater is a better base to carry the ingredients at a higher purity rate, and also the water itself actually has minerals in it.
How important is scalp health for healthy hair?
Yeah, that's the one that a lot of people miss out. The scalp health is probably the most important part, because if you have, for example, dandruff or psoriasis or things like that, and that dry skin is covering the follicle, it can't actually grow through. So it's almost like, you know, you have to get the soil ready in the garden before you can start growing your vegetables, you know, and that's your scalp. You need to have a really healthy scalp to be able to produce healthy follicles.
Okay, and what about brushing? Because I know like we get a lot of customers who say they avoid brushing their hair because they feel like they experience a lot of hair loss or like hair shedding when they're brushing. Yeah. Can you take us through, because I know that you actually advocate for brushing your hair. You think it's a positive process,
Yeah. So while you're brushing your hair, you're again stimulating blood flow. The hair is only going to fall out if it's about to fall out anyway. And you know, people do really hyper focus in on their hair loss when they're losing hair and how many hairs they're losing and all that kind of stuff. It's totally normal to lose 50 to 100 hairs a day. But the thing is, using a really good brush is important. So try and avoid those real plastic hard ones, because they will tear your hair out. So, and doing the typical thing of long hair, brushing from the bottom and working your way up, and just taking your time on it. Don't reef the brush through, and you're much better off brushing when your hair is dry. If you do brush your hair when it's wet, you want to use a really wide tooth comb and do it gently. But yeah, no, it's definitely good for your hair to brush your hair and get that shine happening and everything. So yeah.
Okay, and what about like hair care routines for different hair types? So if someone's got really oily hair, or they've got really dry hair, or they've got curly hair, do they need different routines?
They do. So obviously, if you have oilier hair, our conditioner's kind of been designed with it in mind that you're losing hair, and so it's quite light on your hair. So if you do have oily hair or things like that, it won't weigh it down. By the other side of the coin, though, if you do have really curly and coarse hair, sometimes you might feel like it's not enough. And so we did bring out our hair mask for part of that reason, was to, you know, really nourish your hair. Yeah. So people, particularly with curly hair or dry hair, you know, they can use our hair mask as a conditioner, or just use it a few times a week. Like, I personally have naturally quite dry hair. Because I use Regrow products and they are the right pH and all that kind of stuff, I found that it's just not as dry as it used to be just naturally. It's just so much more nourished normally. Yeah. And then I use the hair mask once to twice a week, and, you know, it sorts all of that out. I just don't have dry hair. But yeah, curly hair is normally more dry, and it does need a little bit more maintenance with the moisture.
Talking about hair masks, how often should you use a hair mask? Like if people have one at home, because I know hair masks are one of those things where you like, people have usually got a few.
Yeah, I know. Have a cupboard
late night
full
scrolling
of them.
on Instagram. It's like, well, that one looks good.
Especially when they're bringing out those single pouches, and you end up like with 1,000 single pouches. So
how often should people use a hair mask? Like, is it, because I know, like, I have really fine hair, so I couldn't do I don't do regular hair masks because I feel like they really weigh my hair down.
Sure.
But like once every couple of weeks, I find is like the sweet spot for me.
Yeah.
But is it different for different hair types, or is there like a standard?
Yeah, I think it's different for different hair types, to be honest. Like you say, your curly hair, your thick hair, your dry hair is going to need it more regularly than a fine hair. The other thing to think about as well, though, if you do have that more fine hair, you don't have to put it all through your hair. You know, you can just put it on, you know, the bottom half of your hair or things like that. So you don't have to put it all the way through for it to weigh down. Whereas if you've got curly hair, you might want to drown your hair in it more regularly. But again, the hair mask is another one of those things that they hide things like silicons and stuff in. So you really need to check that out, because
silicons are sneaky, because
they're very sneaky.
Initially they make your hair feel amazing, and so it gives people that immediate result where their hair feels shinier and it feels like smoother, but in time it's actually just like suffocating the hair, as you said earlier, isn't it?
Totally suffocating it. But you do get that beautiful shine after you use it
initially.
and then it starts getting a bit crunchy. You know, so I've found everyone that's used our product, because we really jammed all the best ingredients in ours, and people use it, and unless their hair's full of silicons already and they're trying to, you know, get through that stage, their hair's going to be shinier after they use it. It's literally why we have on the bottle, for hair so shiny you'll need sunglasses, because it just does.
And what does make hair shiny? So if people, like, their hair is a bit dull or a bit dry looking or a bit kind of like matte looking, what gives hair shine and gloss and that kind of, you know, like more vibrancy?
It really comes down to the health of the hair. So if your hair is looking really dry and brittle, it's because it's just not getting enough nutrients. So whether that comes through the blood flow through to your scalp, or if you're getting enough good products on your hair, it really just comes down to that, because essentially if you're using all the right products and doing all the right thing, your hair should be just naturally shiny. So you shouldn't have to go, oh, my hair's, you know, needing extra of something, because if it's got the right nutrients and the right blood flow, it should just be beautiful.
And what about diet? Like, what part does diet play in hair health?
The diet does play a massive part in any health in your body. You'll often find, though, if with diet will come out a little bit later. So like stress and things like that, if you've been eating really unhealthy for 6 months, you might find, you know, 3 months later your hair starts really looking quite dry and unhealthy and dull. Ideally, you want to have a great nutrition, no stress in your life, no sickness and all those kind of things. And, you know, you have perfect hair. But, you know, everyone will go through phases where their hair will fall out a bit, because – you know, I know when COVID happened, a lot of people were getting COVID hair fallout 3 months after they had COVID. You know, and that's just any kind of sickness, a flu any of those things. So that everyone's going to experience unhealthy hair at some point in their life. But to go for that optimal, perfect hair, you're really looking at, you know, good nutrition, taking care of yourself, exercise, you know, getting the blood flowing, sleep.
I think that's probably really important, because it's just one of those things, having perfect, healthy hair 100% of the time is it's just not something that happens for everybody. We all go through stresses. We all go through moments of maybe not looking after ourselves as well as we have previously. It's like really natural to kind of have moments where your hair is a bit kind of like lackluster, isn't it?
Well, think about like postnatal, you know, if we're talking about women, okay?
That's brutal.
It's brutal. You know, you're pregnant and you've got this lush, most amazing hair, you know, and then all of a sudden you're a tired mum who's eating, you know, bits of leftover toast and running around after children, and, you know, you have the hair fallout, postnatal hair fallout anyway. It's not an easy time to keep your hair looking its best, which is why, you know, during those times you got to wash your hair anyway, so you may as well make sure you're using a really great product. That's probably the best you can hope for at that stage.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it's also just having like those realistic expectations as well, and like trying to use like the base, like bring your basic hair care routine into be like easy and simple and like good products.
Yes, I think so as well. You know, when you've got a new baby, who's got time for hair masks and things like that? You know, good luck if you've got that perfect sleeping child. But otherwise, you know, like I said, using a really good pH balanced shampoo and conditioner and those kind of things, and you know, just trying to take care of yourself a bit where you can, and haircuts more regularly than every 3 years.
What is one like hair care habit that you wish people would stop immediately?
Yeah, probably, well, apart from obvious things like using bad products and stuff, but I really get agitated with people when they like really rip the brush through their hair. Oh, yeah. Okay. Especially when it's wet, you know, and you see people and they're brushing their hair and you're like, oh, you know. Yeah. Because you stretch your hair follicle when you're doing that, and it just, that's when you get frizzy ends.
Frizzy ends.
Like that, yeah.
Slow down, take it easy.
Don't act like you hate it, you know. Like, take your time with it.
And what about hairstyles? Because we talked a little bit about using like heat styling. Are there any hairstyles, like specific styles that can cause damage or worsen hair loss if you are having active hair loss? Absolutely.
So I hate to tell everyone, but dyeing and bleaching your hair is like the worst ever possible. And generally, you know, we're getting a few greys through by the time we start losing our hair as women, and so we do like to cover them up. Depending on how bad your hair is, you might just want to give it a break for a while, you know, or use really good high-quality dyes and things like that rather than box sets. Yeah. Just obvious things like dyeing, you know, if you do things like perms and stuff like that. Hair straighteners, things like that, they're not the best for your hair either. I mean, we still want to be able to style our hair and make it look nice, right? But heatless curls are a really good thing to look at.
They're really big at the moment. I think that's such a good trend because, you know, you and I, obviously we know like how damaging heat styling is on hair. Sure. So I love seeing like all of these heatless curl hacks, like ones with yoga leggings. Like,
that's the best. And I've tried that. That's not easy.
No, it's not. I've done that too. But yeah, I think that having that education around minimizing, because there's nothing inherently wrong with heat styling. It's just daily heat styling is when you're really going to start taking a toll on hair health, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, you know, I've actually got some of those curlers I have had a bit of a go at home, and they lift your hair as well. I think that's one of the most important things. If you're losing your hair, it feels thin and, you know, it hangs on your head. Yep. Whereas if you use those heatless curlers, it gives a bit of bounce to your hair and it makes your hair look thicker and fuller, and, you know, and you still get it without having to use the heat ones. I mean, you know, if you're in a hurry, and you want to look great that night, of course you're going to use it, aren't you?
Are there any other like hairstyles or anything that are really damaging for hair or the follicles, especially if someone's going through active hair loss?
Sure. You don't want to have your hair pulled back tight. So those high ponytails are never a great idea. They do pull on your hair and cause traction alopecia, along with things like dreadlocks is also really bad at pulling the hair out. Things like wearing hats. If you're wearing a hat like 24/7, that will also damage your hair. Those kind of hairstyles that are pulling on the follicle. Yeah, keep it loose.
Keep it loose. Yeah, let it be free.
That's it. Okay. You know, so you would want to have those, maybe like a loose low bun or that kind of thing if you want to tie your hair back rather than those really tight ones.
Yeah, again, so there's nothing inherently bad about those hairstyles, just there are sometimes hairstyles, not an everyday hairstyle. Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Exactly.
Well, thank you, Kristy, for joining us on the podcast today. I love what we went through today because I know you're so passionate about like really good hair care routines, and you know you've been a big part of coming up with the formulas and the product range for Regrow because it's like your personal passion.
Yes, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to give everyone a beautiful crowning glory of hair.
Yeah, like yours.
All right. Thanks, Crystal.
Thanks.